And I guess we're live now, finally. Hi, Dale. Good of you to join
Hey,
us
how you
again
doing,
tonight.
guys? I like that. I like that
Uh,
introduction. That's a neat introduction there.
yeah, it needs to be about 5 seconds longer.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty cool. And Joe
Yeah.
threw that together. He threw that together kind of quickly.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway, tonight's kind of an open mic night. We don't have any particular topic. Anybody that wants to pop in can pop in. I guess if Joe's got the link up
I
there.
will be putting that out in a second. I'm trying to make sure we
Hi,
don't
Cockney.
echo out.
So we were kind of brainstorming here just previously to go on live because we're setting up some times we're going to be going back out on the and doing some investigations here soon. We were kind of brainstorming here just previously to go on live. Okay, I got feedback. We're setting up some times we're going to be on the and doing some investigations here soon. That was weird.
Sorry.
I got feedback all of a sudden. I don't know what that one was from.
It was because I think when I open up our feed on Facebook on the other screen so that I can go and share it, and I don't mute it quick enough, you'll get feedback.
Okay. That must have been it.
The only thing I can think
So are we going to divulge what we're going to be doing, Joe, or you want still hold that in your head for a while?
Okay, you're confusing me now. I'm trying to get my here. Hi, Molly.
That's not hard to confuse you, dude. It's a little too easy some days.
A lot of stress relief today.
Yeah, I know. Anyway.
Now the link is pinned and shared.
All right. There, the link's pinned. Woohoo. Now, the thing is, though, I asked you, are we going to...
Well, we don't have dates yet.
I know we don't have the dates yet. We have something in mind.
But we have places in mind that we've discussed. Yeah.
Now, I know
I'm sure.
I think I can say something about this one because we're going to be going with Dale here to Iowa. And that's in July, right, Dale?
Yeah, that's July 17th, and then part of the 18th as well. If you want me to tell a little bit about it, basically, it's
yeah. Go ahead.
We were going to stop by a place I always wanted to investigate and be a part of. It was the Buddy Holly crash site where
music died.
The day of music died. Yeah, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper, including the pilot of the plane. So it was actually 4 people killed. All three of the celebrities were ejected. Not to get too graphic, but they were actually ejected. The only person in there was the pilot. He was strapped down, and so the story goes. I mean, you probably heard the famous coin toss thing with I believe it was Richie Valens
and Waylon Jennings.
And Waylon Jennings was kind of their backup, I think, and he was up and coming. I mean, he was getting really big. He was kind of crossing over from rock and roll to country and like country rock for a while and everything. Really big name, and so they only had so many seats on the plane, so they kind of flipped, and Richie Valens won the plane. And Richie Valens said to Waylon Jennings, "I hope you freeze in that damn bus." And Waylon Jennings turns around and says, "I hope the plane crashes," or something to that effect. And that hit him really hard, and he carried it the rest of his life. It was a joking thing. It's kind of like when you go on stage and you say break a leg. You don't expect somebody to break a leg. It's right. It's just a little tease that comes out. But we're going to be investigating that, and then Joe and Mark and I believe Joe's wife is going to be joining us as well.
My girlfriend's going to be there too.
okay, to Farrar School, and that's in Farrar, or actually Maxwell, Iowa, and it's a pretty big school that has multiple floors. And I was there quite a number of years ago, and pretty interesting. We got some really neat stuff in there. We got EVPs. We heard disembodied voices. We caught things out of the corner of our eyes. People that want to read more about that, go to my webpage, ghostresearch.org, and just look for GRS investigations. Go down to Farrar School. Some of the neat stuff we caught, and hopefully with the technology we have now, we get something better. And then we're going to end up at the Felicta X house. So that's something that I've kind of capped right now at 8 people. We had actually 9, and one of them backed out. They were all members of the group. So I'm sorry for you guys can't go, but I mean, maybe
that's all right.
it's such a small place. If it was
something else planned too, that when you guys are doing that, we're going to be going to checking out the Van Meter visitor.
That's interesting.
And Van Meter, Iowa.
Well, yeah. After we're done with the school and everything, then we're gonna.
Now, what makes the school so special for those that don't know? What makes it so paranormal, do you think?
Well, I mean, just like anything, schools have a lot of energy in there through decades and decades of that. And I think, as Einstein said, energy can't be created nor destroyed. It simply changes form. It stays around. I mean, we have a measurable energy in our body that could be measured with equipment. So when we die, what happens to that energy? It can't be destroyed. It may hang around. It may coalesce into something that looks like a spirit. There have been reports of, children's in there. There's actually, I believe, if I'm not mixing the 2 schools up, maybe I say that. I went to so many different haunted schools. It's kind of, all these different things kind of swimming around in my head. But yeah, I mean, there's reports of the principal. In the principal's office, his ghost has been seen there, and we actually got some EVPs in there that I believe that it actually said principal when we were in there on a ghost box. This was just after we had lost one of our members, Dave Gus, who had been with us for a long time, and when we were there doing an EVP session in one of the classrooms. We got a voice, a disembodied voice that we picked up that sounded immediately like Dave. And so I just carried on. I said, because Dave was so into the group. And I said, Dave, if you're around and you want to hang with us, investigate or help us with the other spirits that are here, just, pipe right on in. And I swear we had this happen more than once. We had it happen at the Owen County Poor Farm in Indiana, and we had 5 people there. We were doing a ghost box, and I didn't say anything, and nobody said anything. But all of a sudden, when this voice came through, all at the same time, it's just like a chorus. That's Dave. It was really kind of creepy. So for a while, I think he was following us around. But like I say, schools, generally speaking, are pretty active because of sometimes there's tragedies that are involved with kids. In some cases, there might be a good example would be the old orphanage in Gettysburg. There was a very bad head mistress that would beat with children and chain them to the basement floor. And we actually investigated that last year. We got some crazy stuff there. So that kind of energy, generally speaking, of whether it be a residual of just children running down the hallways, giggling of children, things of that nature, or in some cases intelligent responses to questions that are asked. The schools are pretty high on the list for me. I mean, if I had to pick the top 5 places to investigate, it would be probably old insane asylums, state county poor farms, probably number 1, probably followed by maybe prisons, Number 2, old hospitals, and then schools would be right on that top 5. So it should be an interesting evening, and we should be able to maybe do a couple sessions together as a group, and then we can kind of split off and go into different sections of the building to try to cover as much as we can. So
Right.
it's big enough where we're not going to hopefully we won't be contaminating one another. It's a pretty big building.
Sounds like it's gonna be fun.
150-year-old cemetery close to it.
I'm sorry.
Now, according to this, I'm looking at Des Moines Register. It's got a 150-year-old cemetery right across the street from it.
Okay. Yeah, we actually went there before we went into the building itself, and we tried something there. We didn't get anything, but they said that when we were there initially, they said, well, you guys can go there if you want. It's just a small little cemetery. I'm sure nobody would mind. We tried something, I think, during the daylight hours. And then after that, we were so busy in the inside of the building, we never had a chance to come back out. But it is a very huge property. And
School itself?
the school itself, yeah.
100 years old. It says 1921. So.
Yeah, it says, I'm kind of reading right from our report that says in 1919, a guy named C.G. Geddes agreed to donate 6 acres of his farm to merge with the area's one-room county schoolhouses. The cornerstone of this building was inscribed in 1921, and the dedication ceremony on April 1st, 1922, excuse me.
Right.
And then basically, let's see what happens here. Eventually, the school sat empty for a while, from like 2002 to like 2006, when Jim and Nancy Oliver purchased the building. It became their home, believe it or not, and they began restoring the school, and then eventually letting people come to do paranormal investigations. Now, they've had a lot of strange things, including voices, shadow people, and they say orbs, but I'm not a big fan of orbs. They said that one time Nancy was coming down the stairs and she felt a little unsteady, and she said that something grabbed her shoulder to help steady her from falling down the stairs, and she turned to thank her husband. There was nobody there. Nobody there. Right, it wasn't him. There's also a boy said to be about 3 foot 6 inches tall, that has been seen sighted descending the staircases into the gymnasium. We actually set up a motion activated camera there and nothing ever happened, but they said that he kind of holds onto the handrail. Sometimes he'll stay motionless for several seconds before he disappears. Now, others say that they've actually been attacked by shadow figures on the 3rd floor, and actually have like red welts on their necks. Figures have been seen from the small room to the principal's office staring out the window. They've been observed from people standing outside the building. In the gymnasium, the sounds of cheering, running noises, laughter of kids, and multiple EVPs. And even in the boiler room, they say numerous light bulbs have exploded for no apparent reason. It's been quite active there with EVPs. So we actually picked up quite a number of things. When we were doing a ghost box session in the principal's office, it actually said president and not principal. So I'm wrong on that one. It's been a while since I looked at this case report. But we actually had doing an EVP in one of the rooms. I think I mentioned our friend Dave. We had something came through from the ghost box, clearly said Dave. We actually had one of our members' names, who wasn't even with us, called out, Lisa Crick. And that was interesting. We also had some weird noises, whispering voices, A lot of stuff on the ghost box that we picked up there. And so it is a very, in my opinion, very active location still.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I was doing a little bit of research prior to us going out there because that's what I do. Is I kind of look into it, try to find some history, and it sounds like it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it is.
To go to. We've been to some active locations, but nothing.
Yeah, we were trying to set up a weekend in at least 2 days out there to investigate 2 different locations, and I wanted to definitely pick up the Walixa Axe House because I've never been there before, and so we had a couple of other choices. We either try to get into Farrar School or Edinburgh Manor.
Yeah.
And that's a very neat place. We were there once before, but Edinburgh Manor's schedule was completely booked up for the whole summer. So that was pretty good. I was amazed that I was actually able to find a Saturday at one place and a Sunday at another place, and I locked them in right away because they go that quickly.
Yeah, I can, with last year being on lockdown, yeah, I can see that happening easily.
Yeah.
But like you, I always wanted to also go, to the crash site too.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated. I mean, I've watched the movies. I've done my, I've read the history, the stories, and it's just amazing. You think about it, and it's kind of a warped way of thinking, though. But
I got to step away for a minute.
That coin flip, all right, back that coin flip that happened between Richie Valens and Waylon Jennings. If Richie would have lost that coin flip, we would have had Richie Valens and we would have lost Waylon Jennings. Just think, people, the Dukes of Hazzard wouldn't have been quite the same, would it?
No.
I mean, it's just, you think about it. I mean, without Waylon Jennings, that TV series might never have taken off or even existed.
Well, if all goes as planned this year, and I don't know if it's going to all as planned because even the best laid plans always go amiss.
Yep.
We were shooting the possibility of investigating 4 airplane crash sites here.
Hey, Muhammad.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I was reading the comments. Muhammad said it was his first time on here.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. We're still trying to set up Flight 191 in Chicago to actually get on the crash site scene. We've actually investigated before outside the crash site, so the cyclone fence around there. So that's one we're working on. We're doing the Buddy Holly crash site for sure. We are looking. In fact, this Saturday we're actually going on to Indiana to the Flight 4184. That went down. There's a memorial out there, so we're going to stop there. I don't know if it's ever been investigated before. I'm sure some teams have been out there. We'll see if we can get on the property. If it's no trespassing, we'll just do something maybe by the memorial. Because from there we were going to head down the Tippecanoe battlefield to do something there, and on the way back either pick up the Moody Light in Rensselaer, which I actually have debunked, but wanted to show people anyway, or something called Dog Face Bridge. So then we were looking at, kind of got sidetracked, but Flight 191, the Buddy Holly crash site, this crash site in Indiana, and they were also setting up this Tennessee trip. The Tennessee trip will definitely include a visit to the Patsy Cline, Hawkshaw Hawkins, Cowboy Copas, and Randy Hughes crash site in Camden, Tennessee, which is just a slightly west of Nashville. And we're going to be meeting another paranormal team out there, Haunted Tennessee. Hey, Marianne, how you doing? Long time friend of mine, and went on a lot of my ghost tours. So she drops in. Nice to see her. So yeah, I mean, we got at least 4 of them that hopefully we'll be able to do this year, and 3 of them I've never been to before, so that'll be kind of cool. And all 3 of them have memorials there, and I mean, from that many years ago, there could be residual stuff, maybe not. I mean, we've went to Flight 191 for, in some cases, 3 years in a row. on the day of the crash site, and we always seem to get something, some sort of either intelligent or in a lot of cases residual, like the pilot struggling, with the controls, trying to get the plane under control. In fact, we had two very chilling things coming through the ghost box side by side in the same little clip, about 20 or 30 seconds, that said something like, almost made it, and then need more power. And if you put that together with the crash site, with the crash, that's pretty amazing, because they don't have much at all of any cockpit voice recording, because when they said, oh shit, or whatever had happened when they heard that, that engine went off, I think at that time it severed everything, and they lost, basically control, and also they lost communication with the tower, because the tower asked them, Flight 191 Heavy, which runway do you want to return back to? Because they knew right away they were in trouble. They never got a reply. So, places like that, a lot of times, it can be residual, for decades and decades to come. And in some cases, in England, hundreds of years, things just seem to hang around, that energy, because of a tragedy that happened out there. And I don't do that to be disrespectful. You guys know me pretty well, that anything I do, I treat everything with great respect. We don't go out there provoking. We try to hold a conversation. We ask if there's anything that that they want to say, because maybe they didn't have a chance to say goodbye to friends and loved ones. And we were hoping for the Flight 191, and I had this great idea to bring some family members, if they wanted to participate in this experiment, along with a couple of psychic friends of mine, to see if they could hear their loved ones coming through, the Ovilus or the Phasma box or mini portals, because they would recognize the voice more than, hey, Ireland, there you go. That's pretty far away. That's awesome.
Oh, Ireland.
So yeah, I mean, so far, and then you went a step further. I have a police officer friend of mine who's a female. She's very into the paranormal, and she has something to do with canine too, or she knows people in canine, because the place is a canine training facility. So she's been contacting them to try to soften them up so we can get in there. And I wanted to investigate with her anyway, because last year was kind of weird because of COVID. So we're doing stuff like that now. And so it's, we're keeping our fingers crossed. I mean, if we can we still have time to do it on May 25th. I mean, we still got, it's almost a week and a half or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've always went there on the day of and tried to be all set up and everything ready at 3:05 p.m., which is when the plane went down. It seems to be, I don't know if it's the anniversary thing or because it's the date, the time, that's when we get the stuff. We've never tried it any other time, which would be interesting to see if there's stuff there all the time or just at that particular date.
Your deal with these plane crashes and stuff made me look something up, okay? Because I was in 1990, we had a helicopter crash in East Troy, okay? And it took Stevie Ray Vaughan at playing at, he was played with somebody, double something. Anyway, he played at Alpine Valley. And then after they left, he died. It was shortly after he left that concert that the helicopter crashed and took his life. And
I kind of got this idea of doing things with celebrities, because of the show I was on last year called World's Most Unexplained. There was 2 episodes I was on, one of Flight 191 and another one about the ghosts of the White House. Now, the producer from the show, who was from England, came all the way out here to shoot the show. Dave Harvey was a great guy. In fact, he actually brought me a bottle of Irish whiskey that I don't drink, but I will treasure it. I might one day pop it open and just see what it tastes like. But it was his idea. He wanted to go a bit further after interviewing me and everything, and we hit it right off. He had a great crew out here, and his idea was to visit locations where celebrities have died, kind of like maybe like celebrity ghost voices or something like that. And the first thing that came to my mind was Buddy Holly crash site. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And since that time, I put together a list of at least 50 other crash sites. John Denver, JFK Jr., Newt Rockney, Jim Reeves, who was a big country western fan, Patsy Cline. I mean, just the names go on and on of people that died tragically, in plane crashes all across the country. And that was the hopes we could put together that show, for the Travel Channel. And I correspond with them almost, about once a month, twice a month. I'll send them some an email and just ask them how things are going over there in the UK, because they had a bit of a tussle out there with the COVID out there, kind of like the starting up all over like another wave coming through.
Yeah, India right now is
I think it's going to be around for a while, being a pain in the ass.
Yeah. So he says, he's still go for this project. I mean, whenever he gets the go ahead that they can start traveling a lot more, and it's getting safe there and safe here. He wants to come back and start that with people from our group and go to places. I can't wait, because I think that's going to be an awesome. It won't be like the Dale Kaczmarek show or anything like that, but I mean, it'll be a lot of the Ghost Research Society, I hope, and places like that, because I sent him a whole bunch of my material and some of the research that I did as well, and he found it to be pretty fascinating. So he already had some ideas to begin with, and I think we could expand on that.
Yeah. Hey Joe, did you see what Tom asked?
What's that?
They're on the bottom. You're not paying attention.
Oh, I was reading that thing about Stevie Ray Vaughan, because I remember that.
I can give you crap. So yeah, Tom's asking what type of stock do y'all put in psychics?
And I sold my tickets.
Well, I could reply to that, because I've actually worked with professional psychics, and I mean not these TV psychics that give you readings over the phone, or ones that show up at psychic fairs and things of that nature. Ones that have actually worked with missing persons in the police department, people that were past presidents of psychic research, people that had respective titles, and they actually helped find missing persons and so forth. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are some groups out there that simply just don't believe that psychics have a place in the paranormal, because whatever they pick up is a transitory thing. It's kind of like, it's nothing that you can hold in your hand and say it's evidence. It's like a subjective experience that they're having clairvoyantly, clairaudiently. They feel something of that nature. But I have been to, in the kind of going back on that same thing. I mean, some of the early people in the paranormal, Hans Holzer, Brad Steiger, people like that, they use psychics all the time. If you watch the TV show The Holzer Files, I mean, they use people like Ethel Myers. They use Sybil Leek, who was also professed to be a witch as well, and other people that they used, and they got very relevant information.
That TV series,
psychic to a location that they have never been to, and tell them nothing, and make it a very obscure location, and then they begin to tell you stuff that they don't even know where they're at.
Right?
How do you explain that? I mean,
at that TV series, there was that TV series that was called Medium, and it was based on somebody real. That whole TV series was based on a famous psychic that worked with, or medium that worked with the police department often, and in one of the episodes, she worked with the Texas Rangers, and the guy didn't believe, and she predicted his heart attack and everything. And all of this was real. I mean, if you research the real woman, some of the stuff that they put on the TV series was based on facts. Really happened.
See, I think a lot of people, when they say psychics, is because they, maybe not, and maybe it's just my interpretation. They might get that because of what they see on TV. They might see a psychic with
it's a good possibility.
And that's why they might ask the question about that, because I don't know. Knowing that these things are reality TV shows, number one. And I'm not going to mention no names because I don't want to get any more hate mail.
Right.
But being at the reality TV shows, and that in some cases they make fake evidence. You have a psychic on there, as we were talking before we got on, about how scripted is the show. In other words, is somebody being told that this is what you need to say? Oh, something just touched me, or I saw something, or whatever. I mean, you got to remember, take it with a grain of salt when you watch these TV shows. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying the psychics are not psychics. I mean, they could be very psychic, but in some cases, unfortunately, I think they're being used by these TV shows. And I'll probably never get on a TV show now that I said that. But I prefer, if I work with a psychic, to really check into her credentials. In fact, the one psychic, I'll just mention her first name because she never used her last name. She did mention her first name is Trudy, and we were involved in a couple of interesting cases that were absolutely amazing. The stuff she picked up before we even got there, and things of like the woman's favorite color is going to be purple. Here's the layout of the room. I'm going to draw you a map of the layout of the room that's haunted. We get there, they open the closet, the whole closet's filled with purple stuff. Of all the colors of the rainbow. Now, I know a lot of women like purple, so I mean, is it a coincidence? I don't know. But then when you look at the layout of the room she drew, the door was here, the window was here, the bed was over here, there was a dresser drawers over here. It was exactly opposite of what it really was. So she wasn't seeing as you walk into the building through the door. She was seeing it as you were looking outside the building, looking through the walls. Oh. It was reversed. To me, that was
almost as if she was standing inside a mirror.
Yeah. Well, that was like, to me, it was like a 100% hit, because even though she had it backwards, she was seeing it like almost like like remote viewing, seeing it
like a reflection.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost sounds like, one of those things where, all right, you ever have that deja vu type feeling? It's like you can walk into a place that you've never, ever stepped foot into before, and know the entire really layout. Yeah, and it's like everything about the whole place and the building and how the layout and everything is like really familiar. Like, I've been here before, but you haven't.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's called deja vu.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, that strong type feeling of that, where you actually can identify, there's the pictures and stuff on the wall, but you've never been there before. Explain it.
Well, I mean, some people might say that you might have had an out-of-body experience, or that your body, comes disconnected and literally can be moving around and seeing things from a distance, and then comes back into your body, and then maybe when you visit that location, you, oh wait, I've been here before, but no, you actually weren't here before. Right. So I mean, there is so much to that, what they call OBs, out-of-body experiences, which is just another part of the paranormal too. It's more on the psychic realm, because it's actually caused by a living person rather than a spirit, even though your spirit comes out of your body. And as they say, if you go into really psychic terms, is attached to your body with what they call a silver cord. You know, they floats around and sees things and it comes back. And as long as the silver cord isn't detached or broke, you should be okay. And
you'll find your way back.
I've actually had experiences where, you know, I will be sitting there and I'll just jerk, you know, and, you know, I just thought it was maybe I was just falling asleep or having some sort of dream or something. But when I talked to psychics, the two psychics that I worked with, Pat Schenberg being the first one I had worked with, she said that most likely what was happening is your spirit was leaving your body for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it just jumped back in. You had that little jump. And I truly believe that's what it was. You know, I'm sorry?
I get that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
So do I.
Frozen or sleeping, and all of a sudden you get the jerk or something. You know, but the doctors will sit there and explain it like it's like a thing to make sure you stay alive.
Like you say, like when you're dreaming about a place, okay, you might be, you guys are in Wisconsin, here I'm in Illinois, you might be dreaming of a place in Florida that you had been to before. And
never been to Florida.
Well, whatever. Stop being an
just for instance, just say you had visited Florida
I know.
and you're during your dream, you're in Florida again. Now, is it just a dream because of recollections of when you were there, or did your spirit actually detach and decide to go to Florida for a little nighttime folly and then jump back into your body? You know, it's hard to say because the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind is really something that people know very little about.
And some of that stuff sometimes seems so real that, you know, you get the smells, the odors, you get everything that you remember.
That's called vivid dreaming.
Right.
You
know. That's one of the ways it's described, called
with the out of
dreaming.
body thing, though, I believe in that because I do know it happens, you know, because I've had the near death experience.
They actually call that.
Well, according to Kayla, and according to Gina, both. I have done it twice. I've done the astral projection twice.
I think they actually call that lucid dreaming.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, you are correct. Thank you.
Very, very vivid
it
stuff.
It is lucid dreaming.
What I tried to do for several years, and I still got the paperwork here. I need to write it up one day and just look at it. I tried to write down every dream I had as soon as I got up and tried to wake up slowly so I could remember the dream. Because sometimes if you just wake up, the alarm clock starts buzzing, you wake up and you forget what you were dreaming about. And I tried to write them all down. For years I did that. I had a lot of pages, handwritten pages. And a lot of it, you know, unfortunately, was just things that I had maybe experienced. Like, you know, there was like, I had a weird dream that, you know, back when we had TV antennas, that on top of the TV antennas were little Gemini capsules. But at that time, the Gemini, you know, was going up and taking two astronauts around orbiting. So that had a lot to do with some of the dream. But then I had some really, really, really vivid, bizarre dreams that were actually, in one case, might have actually been an omen for my father dying because we were lost in a big giant warehouse or attic, and it looked like the attic from our 3 flat we lived in. It was always spooky for me to go up there by myself, and we couldn't find our way out. And all of a sudden, here comes my dad out of nowhere. Oh, just follow me. I'll take you guys down, and you'll open up a little trap door or something, and just go down there, and I'll be right out there. And we're waiting for on the sidewalk, and he never showed up. And was that like an omen that you know, he was showing us the way out, but then he died? I mean, I don't know. It was always something that kind of, you know, shook me to the core about that particular dream. But it was so vivid. It was so many colors. Some people dream in Technicolor, some dream in black and white. I've actually had instances where I was in my stepfather's mother's home, which would be my step grandmother, I guess you would call it. And I was coming, it was completely dark. She was sitting in her old rocking chair like she always does. And I was coming out, and then somebody came out from the back room with a shotgun. Said, "What are you doing here?" I didn't even know what the guy's name was. So I started running out, and he actually shot me in the back, in the shoulder, with the shotgun. And I land face first. Of course, I wake up, and I go, "Oh, my shoulder's hurting." And I look in the mirror. There's actually a red mark, kind of like a bruise or irritation, redness where that took place. That's how vivid some of the dreams can be in some cases. And
Well, I got a question now. Now that you're talking dreams like that, okay, I got a question. People have a theory. There's a theory out there. I don't know. Everybody gets those dreams once in a while where you're falling from someplace really high, maybe, and you always wake up before you hit bottom.
Right.
Now, what happens if you don't wake up and you hit bottom?
Supposedly you die.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the theory.
Because of the shock of the system, they say that would be enough to stop your heart or kill you. That's what they say. How do you study that? Because if somebody just doesn't wake up, if you have a dream, they just die in sleep. So I mean, it's really hard to prove that.
Now is that what? No, is that?
I've had cases where I've been falling off buildings, and you feel the sinking feeling
I know.
in your stomach. That's how real it is.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you wake up before you hit the ground.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there out of breath, and your heart's racing, and yeah, it's a scary thought. I mean, and is that really, does that happen to some of those that actually have died in their sleep?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to prove that.
They had a heart attack when they were sleeping in their sleep.
Did any of you ever see the movie called Brainstorm?
It sounds familiar.
Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood, Cliff Robertson, where they could actually, you could see your dreams, you could see your emotions. They would, and then when this woman, I think her name was Larice Fletcher, she actually had a heart attack. She puts this on, and it showed her dying, leaving her body, and doing all this stuff. That was a very strange movie, well ahead of its time. In fact, that was Natalie Wood's last movie. Really? So that's kind of crazy too, because of the whole theory of what they were doing at the time. They were kind of tapping, and they were going to market this as like a virtual reality. To the point where you literally saw everything. If you were flying in a plane and you had these goggles on, you'd be tipping to one side and going up and down like this. And it was real. And it all has to do with just kind of hooking into the mind, which unfortunately we know so little about our mind.
No, you don't
True.
Much of it. It's like a small percentage of the brain is actually used. It's like 10%.
Yep.
But to go back just a little bit here to where Dale was talking about that dream he had where he got shot in the shoulder, and when he woke up, there was a mark there. There's also a theory that you can pull things out of your dreams.
Yeah.
Bring it into the real world with you. And they use that concept on Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right. Yeah. Again, that's another thing with dreams. I have two or three books on dream analysis, and they kind of give you symbols or things that are happening to you. Like if you're falling, what does that mean? If this happens to you, what does it mean? If you see certain colors or something, what does that mean? Now, again, that's dream interpretation, and that can be very can be interpreted differently by different psychologists or dreamologists or dream specialists about that. But it's just like when you have a tarot card and it says death. Well, it doesn't actually. The tarot card death doesn't actually mean you're dying.
Mean death.
It means it could mean the death of some project that you had or something else or completely something completely different from that. So again, there's the interpretation is now, is it actually true or not? I mean, people that study dreams, have studied people that have had certain experiences in their dreams over and over again. then they look into what's going on with that person's real life at the time. Are they kind of faltering in social life? Are they having problems with their jobs? Are they having then you can kind of piece together, because you got to remember, dreams are our way, I believe, of working out our things in real life that we can't work out in real life. In some cases, we work them out in our dreams. And in some cases, you can be a lot stronger person emotionally and physically, psychically, if you have a lot of dreams, because you are, again, kind of working stuff up. I still dream about my very first job when I was working at McDonald's. And I was only 16 years old when I started at McDonald's, and I still have dreams about McDonald's. I don't even think about McDonald's throughout the course of the day, and I'll have dreams about that.
That's probably when McDonald's actually.
I hardly have any dreams of the job that I worked for 32 and a half years, but I worked for McDonald's for about 4 or 5 years, and I dream about it a lot. So that's embedded somewhere in my mind. Maybe that was to me, probably was a very a fine time in my life, because I started off the very bottom, kind of worked my way up, became a manager of the store and all that. And maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe it was one of those good instances of in a person's life, and things like that will kind of stick in the forefront of your brain and kind of be replayed all the time. But it's never the same dream. It's different. But they got people in there, and some people that are in there obviously are dead. The manager of the store, the owner of the store, they're dead. But I still dream about them, which is kind of crazy. And people ask, well, are dreams one way that you can communicate with spirits? Do spirits communicate through dreams? And I would say, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a dreamlike state, you're very relaxed, whether it be what they call REM, rapid eye movement, or maybe delta or theta sleep. We never get to that sometimes. Sometimes we're simply in an alpha state. But we're in a very emotionally open state where things can play into our subconscious and our unconscious mind. And I think spirits can communicate with us when we're in that state. That's just like when a psychic would go into a place and maybe go into a trance or something like that to try to experience something. We go into our trances basically in our sleep, because have you ever had a dream where you try to say you're coming to this corner, there's a guy around the corner with a gun ready to kill you, and go that way, you try to alter your dream? Well, you can't. You can't do it because you wake up. Because then your conscious mind is then trying to alter your unconscious mind, and the conscious mind is a bit stronger, in my opinion, in that aspect. So, I could talk about dreams all day. I mean, because it's not just my dreams, but I mean dreams in general. Because
it's part of the paranormal.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I got some good news. Okay, so you might as well save the date. That date I sent to Lee.
Okay.
Back to Bray Road. He said that should work. That was his response. Yep, that should work.
Okay, great.
So we will be back to Bray Road this year.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait.
We are.
Which day is that, Joe?
Bray Road. That was what did we say? June 5th.
June 5th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that first weekend in June, we're heading to Bray Road.
Going back to Bray. Good. I need to get a hold of Kayla and let her know.
Double thumbs up. Double thumbs up to you guys.
That's going to be a great. That's going to start a mini documentary on the place.
Yeah, maybe we can even do something live out there. Maybe some. I'm not sure what the Wi-Fi signals are out there.
I didn't even.
I have a phone. I have this new
My
phone.
His phone should have no problem.
I have unlimited data on my phone, so
I don't, but
I can hook it up. I can hook it up to the computers, to anything that needs to go Wi-Fi, and it'll be fine. Should be fine.
Well, I did
that purposely, actually.
I just ordered me a brand new phone. I'm getting in the mail in a couple of days, maybe tomorrow. the new Galaxy S21 5G Ultra. $1,200 phone. I'm getting like $350 traded in on my Galaxy S7, so it brought the price down to about $850, which is.
How the hell did you wind up with that? My S7 told me that I couldn't even trade it in. It's not worth anything.
I don't know. Maybe it has something to do because I was also getting a discount on the service because I'm a military veteran too.
Oh, there you
could be.
I got something off from there, but that thing is going to be amazing. It's got 11 and a half
different states, different
standby, and 30.
Yeah, Joe's wife just got that same phone. Mine's the S20.
Yeah, I get the cheapest phone that I can get because I have a tendency of dropping them and breaking them and closing them into trunks. I closed the trunk down on one and smashed, but at least it was just it just shattered the protection,
the screensaver.
Yeah, see, my old phone is here, and it's I got a Pelican case on it, and it's really kind of falling apart. It's dry rotted, but I got a screensaver on the front, so there's scratches on this, but not the actual screen. So when they looked at it, they said, "We'll give you $350 for it." So hey, I'll take it.
I got that new what's this one, Samsung?
And the amazing part about that Galaxy S21 is the camera. It's a 100 zoom camera, so
nice.
You can kind of keep pulling it out, going focus, telephoto, and read headlines across the street. Literally,
mine's an A50. Oh, it's a cheap one.
So I had a between three different
my
phones.
camera. It's got the triple camera on it.
Yeah,
but it's a 30 zoom.
Yeah, that's all it does.
Mine's 100 zoom. So I said I might as well go big. Be my last phone for a while. So and like I say, you can pay for it monthly, so that kind of works out.
I do too, and they give me a free upgrade every 2 years or something like that. So
as long as you don't break your phone and drop it and stuff.
Yeah, well, I've got the insurance on it. After that first time, I went to take Mark went and put our logo on the back of his car.
I had one of those vinyls made that goes in the back on the window.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has our logo with website and everything on it. And I
really
put it
cool.
on there. I didn't tell Joe I was doing this. I put it on there.
Look at this, and I saw it, and I said, okay, I got to go in and get my phone and take a picture of it. So I went in and got my phone, went out to take a picture of it. What do? I dropped my phone and shattered it. Oh, I only had it maybe 2 days.
No, you had it. I think it was a week.
Maybe. And because I was stupid and I didn't get the insurance on it, I had to pay that one off.
You didn't get the insurance, and you didn't get a freaking screen cover for it either.
No, and I didn't have the case that it was. This one's in a case too. Got that case.
So I got a little gadget that I can put myself on.
Wrong with the flip phone for so long.
External microphone. It's got the light and everything on there too. We could even try using something like that too out there. Yeah, I'll have that in the next couple of days. Start playing with it and start to swap the data over from one to another. They got this smart switch now, which you can just put the two phones next to one another. They identify each other and they just swap the stuff over, which is really kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I did that with my girlfriend's phone.
Well, I can swap.
Were you able to recover pretty much everything, like your phone list and contacts?
Yeah, it pretty much copied her phone.
Great. I know in the past they used to have a machine at the store that they would plug your old phone into the new phone, and they would swap it there and kind of make like a virtual hard drive or something, and just kind of swap everything over.
It's all done through the cloud now.
Yeah,
basically. They basically have
cloud.
Yeah, that's all they were doing with mine. They sat there in the store and just did it for me, and basically had it sitting there, and it's like, okay, we just got to wait for that to get done loading, and they were disconnecting the other one and taking the other one apart because everything was already uploaded to the cloud, and all they had to do was download it to this one. It didn't take them long. It actually went quite quicker than it used to go.
But I had a really nice guy. In fact, the guy I was talking to was into the paranormal, but he was an atheist. He was an atheist, but he was into the paranormal, which kind of struck me as being kind of strange. I mean, if you don't believe in God or anything, how can you believe that it goes to the paranormal? I mean, to me, it's just kind of a weird combination.
Well, he had his own different beliefs about what he believed in.
I'm sorry.
Maybe he just didn't believe in going to church.
Yeah, could be.
You know, I'm one of these people. I don't consider myself any type of religion. You know, I believe there's a higher power out there, but I also believe that I don't have to go to church and I don't have to be forced or feel like I'm being forced to throw money in a donation thing to something that's supposed to be a what do you call it? A nonprofit organization, but here you see the pastor driving around in a Cadillac or something. You know,
that's because they're nonprofit and don't have to pay
yeah.
taxes.
But I'm just saying, it's I shouldn't have to go to a church to worship whatever I believe in. Okay, I could do that in the privacy of my own home. Is all I'm saying.
I know.
I believe. I mean, you sit there. I know it was. I'm not. They're not. God's not done with me yet. That's why I didn't die in the car accident. That's why the cancer didn't kill me, and that's why I say I'm gonna live fucking ever.
Well,
I tell people I'm a vampire.
I love that you talking to you guys all night, but I do have a show I have to get ready for.
Yes.
He's got to go to work in the morning.
But my new show's coming up on every other Wednesday starting tonight at 8 o'clock on Live Paranormal called Chasing Spirits and the Paranormal.
Cool.
And we're going to see how that works. And I've already hooked up to the chat right now. I guess they got a separate chat, so I'll have to look at my phone every now and then to see if there's any questions. That's the way they got it set up. But they got a really nice bunch of people there so far that I've come across, and hopefully everything will work out good, and we'll continue with that. But looking forward to Bray Road, and looking forward to seeing you guys also in July as well. So we'll do a couple things together now this year for sure. I'm really looking forward to meeting you guys in person.
Now that we got those two things done and set up, we got to work on the other thing, because we have plans to actually want to go into the forest and do the Bigfoot with Jay.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I'd be up for something like that, to try a Bigfoot. I've never hunted Bigfoot yet. So
we're not going to go without the expert. So
yeah, exactly. I don't want to be lost in the woods.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend. Well, it's not so much being lost in the woods, because I've got a human GPS with me. When it comes to Mark, he's got a good sense of direction. I don't think it'd be getting lost in the woods, but you got this guy out there that knows the area well, the terrain well, and he'd know the wildlife well enough. So, I mean, you don't want to go into the woods without a guide if you're going to go hunting and looking for Bigfoot. Yeah,
exactly.
And this guy's been doing it for years. Who better to trust than the expert of that particular area that we want to go to?
Right.
Well, I got to run, guys. It's always
always fun having you on.
All right.
You're always welcome to come back and join us. Have fun with us.
Well, I always try to watch your shows whenever I'm not doing something. So always, especially your wacky Wednesdays and your freaky Fridays or whatever you call them. They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Right.
I love you guys.
Calendar.
All right. Thanks, Dale.
Okay. We'll see you. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. You have a good week. And I am going to write that down.
What are you writing down?
The date, June 5th. Because I got that answer.
June 5. I sent Kayla a text letting her know.
All right. Anyway, so what else we got coming up yet? Since we're at the end of this, let's see. What else?
Oh, we were talking about you were talking yesterday about us going up to Maribel.
Yeah, we want to go and check out Maribel Caves. It looked interesting.
And the possibility of finding out who owns the old hotel there, then seeing
Right.
if we can get permission to go and do
Hotel
an
Hell.
overnight there.
That's what it's called in the paranormal world here in Wisconsin. It's called Motel Hell, but it was actually Maribel Caves Hotel. Then what was of course, we were hoping to hook up with our friend Jay so that we can go check out and go for our first time Bigfoot hunting. That would be fun.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, we're both looking forward to that one. And then of course we're going back to Bray Road. We're going out to the day the music died. We've got some good interesting trips coming up, and we will try to keep you posted and come online and do an open mic session and see what happens when we have the time. So I don't know what else I can say because I can't remember what else we were talking about going besides there. I mean, we got pretty carried away about those caves. The Grotto Cave up in the Dells was another place we talked about.
Well, we could also look up the history of that place over in Dickeyville called the Grotto, and see if there's anything there.
Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of we got a lot of cool ideas. Maybe a couple places we want to return to that people have asked us to return to.
I think I'd also like to. I think I personally would like to get up to the Devil's Punch Bowl.
Yes, we need to go back out there. I told you that. I mean, that was just like not even a trip for an investigation. That was just a getaway for the wife and I because we needed it. So we took a road trip, and I wanted to check out some of these spots to see if they were worth going back and for a full-fledged investigation. And the Devil's Punch Bowl is definitely on my list too. But
Yeah,
when
that's
we're out
fine. I'm
that
just
way,
saying that would be something we can look
when we're
forward
out
to.
that way, if we decide to do that, that's another weekend trip. Okay.
I notice.
And here's the thing: we do that trip. We also we check in, and there's a spot, and I know the spot, and I'll get Tanya to remember the spot on the road. There's a pullover, like a historical marker site. It's got a little parking lot. Okay. We need to go there, set up our cameras, and search for Peppy.
Pepe Le Pew.
No, Peppy in Lake Pepin. It's a lake monster, kind of like
I know.
this monster. There's one out that way. We didn't see anything, but there is a great view of a good portion of that area where it's been sighted a lot. So, but there was a couple of places out that way that we need to find, and the one is that Mary Dean place too. That's out that way. But yeah, we've got some cool places. There's a couple of places we might return to. You did want to say something about you did want to go back to Eagle Road again because we've had
Yeah, I'd like to actually go back to Eagle Road.
At Eagle Road Cemetery. There was somebody that said we should return to Paradise Road in Jefferson.
Yeah, we can go back out there. Maybe get a hold of somebody out there that we can actually go into the woods.
Need to do the Weary Road as well again, but that's getting to. We might have to do that real soon before the mosquitoes start.
Yeah, no.
That was a place where the mosquitoes were really bad, and I don't think I can afford that much more blood. I mean, they were terrible that night.
I know.
Oh, I mean, they get bad out here because of that little pond, as you like to call it, across the way from my back door.
It's a pond.
Weary Road,
exactly what it is, a pond.
Weary Road that night was horrible. I mean, I wouldn't have been standing outside so much if it wasn't for running into another investigative team out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are a few places that, and you could, that's the other thing. You don't always investigate a place one time and call it quits.
No.
Because just one time you might not find anything. It might take you years of going back to a place over and over again, like the same date. Like Dale said, he goes to the crash sites the same date, the same time, and hope to find residual effect each time. And does it always happen? No. Anybody will tell you that. Unless you're, well, we won't go there. Unless you're a TV star. Anyway, so till we decide to come back on again, maybe next Wednesday, we'll make it a weekly thing until we're done investigating.
Maybe.
We keep our Fridays free. Unless we have news, we'll be back. So keep watching our Facebook page, watch our YouTube page, go to our website for all our links. UtterlyInsaneProductions.com. Check us out, follow us, subscribe, and we'll keep you updated as things happen. Because it'll be we won't probably get back to the talk shows until we decide that it's too cold to keep investigating. So from this point on, it's going to be mostly us doing investigations. So stay safe out there, and until next time, anything's possible.
Yep.